So today I'm delighted to say that I'm in conversation with Beverly Clarke, author of The Digital Adventures of Ava and Chip, a children's book series with a technological focus. Beverly is Tech Woman 100 award winner and leader in education, and she is passionate about wanting to raise the outcomes for all families and children through understanding and accessing technology. Now, I found it really interesting when I was researching you, Beverly, that you hadn't seen a computer until you were 12, and since then you have really embraced computing and technology with real gusto, real passion. And I just love your books. You're a former secondary school teacher, I know, but now you're this author, you're an education consultant, you're a writer, you're a coach, you're a mentor working in computer education. So I'm just so thrilled. And also, of course, you won the Theo Paphitis SBS winner, and you are the Tech Woman 100 Award winner. So lovely to have you here today. So let's discover a bit more about you. Tell us about your journey. How did it all begin?
Okay, so thank you for that fantastic introduction, Sue. It sounds wonderful. Thank you very much. So it all began, as you mentioned, when I was age 12. And my family are from Guyana in South America, and we were going to the Bahamas. My parents went to the Bahamas to work as teachers. They were recruited to go to the Bahamas, and we stopped in Miami and Florida to see some friends, and I saw a computer for the very first time. And the people we were staying with, their child was, saying, this is what you can do, and it's all about games and so on. But at that moment, I realized that I'd never seen a computer. I'd read lots of books, and I was like, oh, wow, there's so much more out there. There's opportunity. And then we stayed in the Bahamas. My parents worked there for a while, and then we came to England. And then I went to school over in Hackney, and it was, that sort of year 4, I think it's around year 10 now. And the teacher, Mr. McNulty, in computing, he just started opening doors and showing me possibilities. And that's when it really, really started to build at that point. And I was good at it.
Yes.
Yes. Good at this subject. So that just led on to everything else. It led to, my degree, the sorts of jobs I had. So opportunity, and just being really aware that if I hadn't had that opportunity to see something different at age 12, then my life would be different.
How intriguing, isn't it? It's like that pathway that, you go that way or you go that way. And the teacher, this is what I love, because as you know, I'm a deputy head or former deputy head. The opportunity to encourage a child can change their aspirations and the direction of their lives, can't it? By simply encouraging them.
Absolutely, yes. It's once you open the eyes and
just
giving that opportunity and saying this is possible for you, that's really, really important. So frequently, as my former background as a teacher also, you would hear, sometimes you'd hear, like, sometimes unfortunately parents or sometimes children say, oh, tech isn't for me. But tech can be applied to every industry, and every industry is affected by tech and will be as we move forward. And the changes in technology are rapid at the moment. So the possibilities are endless for what's out there, and there's opportunity to create, it's democratized, really. All of this technology, it's in the hands of the people. So you can you can just, social mobility, you can rise really far, go far with technology.
I mean, that's why it's so interesting. So why did you think it was important to write a book, or books? Because you've got 2 out now at the moment. So tell us about why it was important to do that.
Well, I've got 3 books out.
Oh.
So my very first book was back in 2017, and that was entitled Computer Science Teacher: Insight into the Computing Classroom. And that was aimed at adults.
Right.
And it was to encourage more people into teaching and teaching computing and computer science as a profession, because it's one of those what's called a shortfall subject. Not many people take up teaching as a career, and also take up teaching computing. So it was to encourage teachers, new entrants into the profession. So that's for adults, and I've written widely for adults. However, for children.
Yes.
During the pandemic of 2020-21, I realized that forever, basically, I've heard that there aren't enough women in STEM subjects and in technology, and
Yes.
there aren't enough people from underrepresented groups.
Yes.
And literally looking in the mirror, and I thought, oh, female, underrepresented group.
Oh, I tick that box.
Yes, I did. That's exactly what I thought. And also, I was leading computing nationally as the National Community Manager for BCS, the Charter Institute for IT, and their teacher-facing brand arm, which is computing at school. And I thought, I've got everything here. Let me make that difference. So, and initially I thought I'll write one book. And then I thought, hang on, I've got a series in me.
Yes.
I wrote the titles out, and then I just started writing. And, you know, I thought, I thought, as a child, I enjoyed the adventures of Tintin and the Nancy Drew books and Hardy Boys, those sort of series things. And I've always been into an adventure. So I just started writing, which is why I thought it's a digital adventure. This isn't something to be scared of. Tech is for everyone. So let's go on this adventure and make tech accessible and easy to understand.
Oh, wow. Isn't that inspiring? I just love it. So, I mean, tell us the two that are out at the moment. They're in the Sue Atkins Book Club. And then tell us what's coming. If you want to.
Yeah, absolutely. So the first one, I've actually got a copy here, is called The Digital Adventures of Ava and Chip, Smart City. And it's against the backdrop of a smart city, which essentially is a city which is run by data, preferably in real time. So decisions are made upon data, such as bin collections can be made, decided upon collection. So if the bin is full, then the sensor in the bin is then triggered, and then the collection will take place. So that's an example of real-time data in action. So smart cities can help with things like pollution levels to be monitored, all sorts of things, transport routes could be changed. So I've set it against the backdrop of a smart city, and there are many smart cities in the world. I mean, London has got elements of a smart city, Bristol, Milton Keynes, Barcelona. So this isn't just something that's out there. This is a reality, smart cities. And so I thought, well, myself, there was a time in my life I was a single parent and I took my children out. So I took them on an adventure to a smart city. And in the smart city book, they go to visit a smart shop. Now, this isn't some distant reality. This is right here, right now. So, for example, Amazon and Tesco have got smart shops where you go into the shop, you scan your way in, you pick up everything, put it into your bag, and you walk out. You don't actually scan in the store, you just walk out, and your bill, as soon as you leave the store, it pings, the receipt pings into your phone. So smart shops are a reality, and they are, you know, have a Google. I'd encourage anyone to have a Google and find out about smart shops. So this is the sort of stuff that's involved and included in Smart City. And then that's book one. Book two, which has just been released this week, so I'm very excited, and I've got a copy here. I
love that one as well. This is great.
Self-driving cars. So
the
inspiration behind that came about one day. I was driving through Milton Keynes and I thought, what on earth is that? And it was a little tiny box basically driving down the road, and then I realized it's one of these self-driving vehicles, and I thought, I need to write about that. So that's always been in the back of my mind, and self-driving cars are always in the news. And there are lots of conversations about, you know, how is a self-driving car trained? Will it be able to deal with road conditions and pedestrians stepping out in front, or cyclists, and all sorts of different things. So self-driving technology is going to affect any job that relies on a driver is going to be affected. And so when we see headlines such as jobs are going to disappear, it's important to understand what we mean by jobs are going to disappear. How are they going to disappear? So if jobs such as, you know, a taxi driver can disappear, a train driver, any piloting, captain jobs, if they're going to disappear, then what will be replaced? So, you know, what are our young people, and what are we, because we're still part of this society, what are we going to do? What does this actually mean for us? And sometimes I do talks and I talk about the impact of technology on self, your community, and your whole society. And it's by thinking about this and what's going to happen. So in the adventures, Mom is talking to Ava and Chip about things like algorithms, so the routes that are taken, things like sensors, which I've just mentioned in relation to the bin. She's talking to them about the types of jobs they can do. You know, so in self-driving cars, cybersecurity is mentioned. So if you've got these boxes delivering boxes of sort of box type vehicles delivering packages, how do we keep them safe and secure?
Yeah, it's just so interesting, even for parents reading this stuff. They go, I didn't realise that, because I found them so interesting on that level as well. I mean, where did the characters come from, Ava and Chip? And the idea was it based on any of your kids, or just names that you liked?
Oh, well, so Mum is based upon me.
Yeah.
The children, I have 2 daughters, so I created a female character of Ava, of one of my daughters, or rather a blend of the 2. And
that's diplomatic.
And Chip, I've got 4 and there, 6 nephews actually. So I created Chip off.
I just wanted to know the background behind them. I mean, who are the books aimed for in terms of age and who would read them?
Okay, so I would say independent readers age 7 to 11, and for anyone also. So
yeah, because you could read it with younger children, because the pictures are so interesting as well. And I love that highlighted bold writing. Where did that, is that because you're a teacher? You just thought, oh yes, I need to, you know, explain these words? Because I thought that was a super idea. Yeah, absolutely love that, because that really then starts conversations with kids as well about the word, doesn't it?
Yes, it's there. There are points in each book to start prompting discussion. So independent readers can do that with a friend or with their parents, and parents can then have that conversation with their children. It's just points to spark that, you know, discussion and rich conversation around technology. So it's really to make tech for everyone. You know, I'll just go back a bit. You asked about the names of the characters. So in all of the books, there's technology links in there and links of my own personality. So Ava comes from, there was a female humanoid robot in a film called Ex Machina, or Ex Machina. It's not a children's film, I must stress, it's for adults, but it's the female robot in there was called Ava. So I thought, let's go with that. And Chip for a computer chip, essentially. So
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I love it. I love it. I love behind the scenes and where these things come from. I mean, it's really important for parents to talk and teach their kids, not be frightened, not put their head in the sand either. So that's why the books are so good, because it's great for everyone's sort of knowledge, chatting, and then, you know, thinking about the world and how it will change and stuff. So, I mean, how can parents, do you think, model good behaviour around technology? Because they're role models, aren't they, in everything they do? What would you say to that kind of question?
Okay, so I think what parents can do is have conversations with their children, first of all. So, for example, currently there is a cyber attack on Royal Mail.
Yes. Yes,
it's affecting, I believe it's international delivery. So that's a good conversation. So have conversations about what's going on in the news. Talk about passwords. So what makes a secure password, a strong password, and you know, go to websites like the NCSC website, the cybersecurity services, and have a look. The government has got a lot of rich resource out there. being present. So one of the things we have are devices invading our family time. So say at dinner time, devices not at the dinner table. So you can actually talk to each other, perhaps, about what's going on in the news.
Lord, really?
Strange concept, talking to each other.
You know, it is. It's putting boundaries around sometimes, isn't it? And parents are sometimes scared of it. They go, oh, I don't want to, you know, have a fight with them and fall out with them. But actually, we need to talk and teach them about healthy ways to manage technology, because it's fantastic. But also then they will learn eventually self-regulation. And the younger that you start that kind of boundary setting and talking and teaching, that they'll just grow up with a better, healthier attitude around it. Balance,
yeah.
You know.
It's limiting that screen time also, turning notifications off. If you're having a conversation with someone, have that conversation with them as opposed to starting to look and swipe on your phone. That's
rude.
It's rude, yes.
Yeah, it's about being in the moment with it too, isn't it?
Yes. So those are just a few tips. I mean, I could talk about that
you can talk forever. But I wanted to ask you just a few of them, so people get the flavour of that. So tell us about then your work in schools.
Oh, I mean, I've got a good, strong, solid background as a teacher, so a secondary teacher, and I've lectured at a college. I do talks for schools, so author visits, talking about the books, reading the books, and just talking generally about technology. So I do things like games, I do magic tricks and so forth, and link them to technology. So, you know, that's a secret there. I won't spoil it, what the magic trick's about. So that's some of the work I do. I also do career talks with schools to inspire young people into STEM careers. So STEM is science, technology, engineering, mathematics, and computing sits within that technology and spans across everything also. Career talks, I also speak to teachers. I do a lot of work with teachers, which is my sort of day job, and consulting and working with teachers. So it's working as a subject matter expert. It's delivering talks on things such as, I recently spoke to some trainee teachers and early career teachers about developing your personal learning network. So it isn't just about get qualified as a teacher and go into the classroom, in my opinion. It's about being able to continuously network as a professional and to find out what else is about there. And then this will have a greater impact upon our students and our young people, because then that teacher is aware of what's going on in the real world. So it's about that extension into your personal learning network. So, for example, I utilize social media, I think rather effectively, to dip into other networks for my own knowledge and for sharing and informing others. So that's part of, you know, working with training teachers. It's also sometimes delivering courses. So with that subject matter expertise, I've got an interest in artificial intelligence. And AI is one of the things that's changing all of our lives. So we delivering a bespoke session on, you know, what AI is happening.
Because then if you give confidence to the teachers, they might be able to then set up networks with parents, so that parents understand this kind of stuff, all in a very conversational way, not in a scary kind of way. But wouldn't it be interesting that through your work with teachers, then they go out and help reach parents as well? So it's a very nice way of dealing with it and learning and understanding and not being frightened by changes, because a lot of people don't like change. But I think if you embrace it and you understand it, it is the future. And all those jobs that could be created actually through technology now for kids, it's just wonderful. It's just eye-opening, and all the opportunities are out there for them, aren't there?
If I share with you a story, Sue, and it's about I was having a home shopping delivery. I won't name the supermarket, but delivery was a female delivery driver. And we got chatting at the door as I was taking the shopping in, and she asked me what I did. And I mentioned that I work in computing and technology. And it was her reaction, oh, that's nothing for me. Well, I don't understand it. My grandson is really into that, and he's, you know, on his computer and these games, but I don't get it. And I've always reflected upon that and thought, why didn't this person feel the technology was for them. She's used GPS to find my home, you know, as a whole satellite navigation system. She's, you know, it's the supermarket has got an entire supply chain which is run by technology. I've signed, and this is electronic signature, is Wi-Fi, and uses all sorts of things. But yet she didn't say that she was part of tech.
She didn't see that she was.
No.
Intriguing.
Yes, and so many of us don't see that. And you know, there's a really good BBC documentary, Computer Says No. I keep recommending it to everyone to watch. And it's about how computing is being used in the recruitment sector. So, you know, it's not, you may, in the old-fashioned way, you'd sit and be interviewed by someone. However, before you get to that stage, if you even get to it, algorithms are in place to sift CVs now. So you can be hired by a computer. And you know, understanding how algorithms work, and the algorithm, I feel, is one of the sort of building blocks of computing. You really need to understand that, and in all the in both books and in coming books.
Yes, we're going to get to that bit in a minute.
Algorithms keep coming up because they're really important.
Because they keep changing, don't they? And it's about that lifelong learner approach to life. I have it. My mother-in-law had it, actually. You know, she was in her 80s, I think, and she had her mobile phone, and she would text the kids, and we loved it with huge love, because she would put a V instead of a U, so it kind of went Roman looking. But I loved that attitude. The idea of also, tell me about how that iPad works. You know, my husband bought her an iPad. That curiosity is so important for people of any age, because people can block off. You know, I've got friends who go, well, I don't really understand that and I don't need it. And I'm thinking, yeah, but aren't you just curious about it, how it works, how it can affect our lives, and how it is currently affecting all our lives? So I think your books, even on that level, for grandma and granddads, they can read them too and enjoy them and learn and talk to their own grandchildren around all these wonderful topics. I've got to get you onto the next book then. What is the, I don't know this, because I've written testimonials and book reviews for you on the others. I love them. So what have you got planned? What's coming next?
I can't reveal the titles.
Oh, watch this space then. Okay.
It is a watch this space, but there are a few more books fully written.
Yes.
Great. Yes, what I do, I write them. So as soon as one is published, I've got the other one lined up, and then I revisit it and give it a proofread and a sense check before then asking. I have a couple of friends who will read them for me. With trusted confidants, and then I go into the publishing process with my publishers and start that process. The publishing, it can take up to a year to get the book.
I know. Yeah.
You know, there's a lot of back and forth with the imagery and getting the images to convey what's happening in your mind.
And they sit well, they feel right, they look good, because I talk a lot about that with books as well. You want them to be engaging, and want children who are younger, they can still pick up stuff by looking at the pictures, and we all pick up all sorts of information by looking rather than just reading. Do you have them in audio format yet or not?
I don't. It's one of those areas. So you spoke about lifelong learning. That's an area I'm learning about, to convert the books into audio format. And so watch this space on that one.
Yeah, because auditory, visual, reading, you then hit whoever their natural way of learning, and I think listening to it too would just be great too. So watch this space for the next bit. So tell us then, tell us briefly about, you write about the digital divide. What do you mean by that, and what do you do around that?
Okay, so the digital divide is the divide in society between people who have and do not have devices, is one example, and people who have and do not have access. And when I say access, what I mean is like internet access. So it's one thing to say, for example, to have a device, but if you don't have that connectivity, you know, the broadband, then you are divided. So that's that digital divide. And essentially, one of the other jobs I do, I'm an ambassador for the Digital Poverty Alliance, with national organization. They've got their founding partners, the IET and Currys, the High Street Store Currys. And together, what they're working to do is to end digital poverty by 2030. And I'm also a trustee for the Learning Foundation, who supports schools with devices. So, you know, if your listeners can actually go and have a look at those organizations, but essentially flying the flag for the Digital Poverty Alliance, it really is about getting donors for the cause. They've got lots of different programs running, so tech for families in certain areas where there's high areas of digital poverty. There's tech for prison leavers. There's tech for different groups of people to support them in bridging the digital divide. And it's really important. If we go back to when I mentioned opportunity at age 12,
yes,
that device was opportunity. Yeah. And for some people right now, that opportunity isn't there, not just here in the United Kingdom. This is a global issue, but we're tackling one step at a time. We're dealing with it right here. So there's that divide, and we need to bridge these divides so we can have an equal and equitable society.
Oh, absolutely. And I think the pandemic really showed that, didn't it? When they had lockdowns and children were trying to access information, their teachers were trying to talk and teach them through Zoom or whatever it was, that digital divide became quite apparent quite quickly as well. So I commend that, and I support all of the work you're doing behind all of that. I think it's so important to help children too. So yeah, I know you go on podcasts, you give talks, you write, you do everything. So how do you relax? Let's finish off with finding out how Beverly Clarke relaxes.
How do I relax? Relaxing is very, very important when you're juggling, you know, many different balls, spinning all the different plates. So I'm a fan of the gym. I always have been.
Yeah.
So I go along to my gym and I work out, and you know, I have a little run, although I'm a lot slower than I used to be, but a walk jog.
Yeah.
Where I can, I have a 10-minute meditation to start the day.
Yes. Yeah, I'm a fan of that. Yeah.
To empty the mind.
Yes.
And then sometimes just to realize that, you know, you need just a comedy show. You just need
to watch something and relax. Yeah. It's really important, isn't it, to find that balance, because then from that you can go on to be creative, or you've got more energy. So that's how you relax. I finally found that out. I did wonder.
What else I do to relax? So with myself and my husband, we like long walks, and some people may not think this is relaxing, but we set ourselves challenges. So like last year we climbed Ben Nevis. Okay, so that was just, it took us 10 hours. That's up and down. And when you're walking for 5+ hours, you have a lot of time to think.
Yes.
And it's about that clarity. So that's what long walks do for you. They give you that clarity. So if I'm out, say, on a lunchtime walk, so every day I try and get that half-an-hour walk in for, you know, the old Fitbit and the active minutes. And I don't take my phone with me. So talking about modeling good habits, you know, I've had friends and my husband say, what if something happens? And I do remind them there was a world before.
Yeah, and I think you're right. I do the same thing when I walk the dogs. You know, people always think, oh, you read a scary world, but actually it's a part of it is the walking. And there's a wonderful show on TV that I like where they show you the winter walks, and famous people do it, and sometimes not less famous, but actually the walk and the talk and what they get, and they're walking on their own. They've got a camera that follows them. I find those so insightful and so interesting. So tell us then, where can people find your book, your website, and all the things that you do? Tell us your social media as well. We'll put them into the video notes at the end, but tell us as well.
Okay, fantastic. So I'll use my two different hats. So for the books, it's Ava Chip Books altogether, and that's the handle on Instagram, on Twitter, on LinkedIn, on YouTube, and the website is www.avachipbooks.com. If you're looking for me with my consulting hat on and my work to alleviate digital poverty, then it's MS B Clarke, Clarke with an E. So Ms. B Clarke. And again, I'm across all social media, the Twitter, the Instagram, LinkedIn, etc. at Miss B Clarke. And I do have a website also associated with that, which is beverlyclarkeconsulting.co.uk. And I also have my coaching that I do for professionals and for organizations. And you can also find the coaching page on Beverly Clarke Consulting for the coaching work that I do.
And breathe. You are an inspiration, and it is an absolute delight to find out more about you, more about your books, all about your work. So I'm thrilled that you're in the Sue Atkins Book Club. Thank you for your time today. And I hope loads of people go and find out all about you after watching this video. Thank you, Beverly, so much.
Thank you, Sue. Thank you to everyone who's listened to this today. And thank you for having me in the book club also. It's been a real privilege.